Hi, Uppercenters. Right, today we have a seriously exciting learning session. So make sure that you're super focused, you're in the state, ready to learn, and maybe you've got a notepad at hand too. Today, the learning session is titled Investing Venture Capital into Unicorns and Building Billion-Dollar Teams. Yes, billion-dollar teams. And we're joined by Ben Newsome, a venture partner at Octopus Ventures. You're going to learn all about how to build a successful tech startup and what it takes to be successful in this climate. With that being said, let's get into it. Ben, may I say I'm very excited to talk to you today.
Thanks.
No worries. Mainly because, number one, you're a venture partner at Octopus. But for me, you build interesting companies in an interesting way. So as well as trying to spearhead and help the next generation of companies grow, you're not doing it by the general way of maybe go to market or product market fit. That's not your focus, right? Your focus is on building teams, culture, and essentially fulfilling what the definition of a company is, which is a combination of people.
Of all of the above, yeah. There's definitely elements of it all. I think obviously the organisation is something that I've got a lot of experience in, and that we focus on at Octopus. And because human capital is everything, right? You can invest in a business and deploy that money, and it can just sort of go up in flames if the organisation isn't there and capable enough to deliver on it. But the strategy, depending on obviously what sector and at what stage, is very much kind of about organizing all of these individual organizations, be it go-to-market, be it executive teams, product marketing, engineering, whatever it is, needs to work kind of in harmony to be able to deliver on that vision that they've set out, and most importantly, reach that next stage of funding. And so really that's my goal, is to go into businesses, set them up for success by understanding skills gaps, building out the organizations, connecting resources, making sure that from board level down into the mission statement inside of the business, it's functioning correctly, and that they work together to meet those goals.
Cool. Yeah, interesting. And just to give maybe the audience a bit of context, is there any companies that you've worked quite closely with that the audience might know, that can just provide a bit of context?
This is an interesting one, because when I joined the portfolio, the kind of the glamorous companies like the Zooplas, the Depops, and so on, which sit more across our consumer side of the fund, and I look after a lot of our B2B side of the business. So there's companies like Permitive and Ampliance, which are two big sort of performance marketing businesses, leveraging AI and stuff like that. And they're most likely going to be our next unicorn company. So if not now, keep an eye out for those guys.
What about Uppercent?
Keep an eye out for Uppercent, of course.
And what about life before Octopus? How did you get to the point of being a venture partner?
So interesting journey, really. Started life as a professional sportsman playing golf, and then sort of worked my way into actually building out teams for a lot of the big tech companies in London. So I had my own recruitment business, got very close to a lot of the CEOs in those big tech businesses very early in their life cycle. The likes of sort of Deliveroo, Not on the High Street, PayPal in London, working with the big techs. That was a sort of a journey for me into how technical teams were built. And then sort of took a little bit of a pivot out into building my own tech company, which was at the time called the dating app for flat sharing, or kind of the Tinder for flat sharing, where we use matchmaking in the way that dating apps and social media is done to make sure that people are living with the right people. And so that entrepreneurial journey, and obviously something you guys are kind of going through, is kind of created the foundation for understanding how businesses were built. And then went into two big unicorn companies. One was Improbable, which was building the metaverse side, and obviously moving into Web3 now. And then Monzo Bank for a couple of years during the sort of hypergrowth phases. And that combination of entrepreneurial kind of savviness, as well as the larger operational experience in big tech, was a perfect sort of position for me to go in and actually support founders in developing businesses from pretty much an embryonic stage, and obviously all the way through to IPO.
Brilliant.
So yeah, very kind of spiraling career, and that ended up in a perfect position for me, really.
But it's always been about startups and tech.
It's always been about tech, startups, complexity and operations. Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's what we're now going to get into in the learning session.